Before every shift, I remind myself, someone out there needs me tonight. Hello everyone, it's me again, Omar, a Filipino nurse here in the US. Today, I'm gonna share with you a day in a life experience in the OR as a night shifter. From pre-duty prep, clocking in, prepping the rooms, handling emergencies, to finally stepping outside and seeing the sunrise. This is what a night shift as an OR nurse really feels like. Fast-paced, intense, and unforgettable. Are you ready? Let's go! I can't film in the OR because of HIPAA, which stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, a US law that protects patients' private information, but I can take you through it, step by step, via storytelling. It's been a while since my last vlog, and honestly, I've really missed you guys. The holidays were busy, work never stopped, and well, life happened. Even my love life. Yes, I'm not single anymore. Someone special has come into my life recently, and I'm truly grateful for that chapter. But coming back here, I wanna pause and thank you all, my 10.3K subscribers. You've been with me through every vlog, every story, and every milestone. I hope what I share continues to inspire you, especially as you chase your own American dream. Ever wonder what a night in the OR really looks like? Enough talking. Let's dive in and start this new chapter together. Now, let's talk about the things that I'm doing before going to work. Number one, getting up from bed. After a long night shift routine, waking up at 5 p.m. has slowly become my normal. While most people are ending their day, mine is just the beginning. This moment marks the start of another night in the operating room, another chance to show up for my patients, for my family, and for myself. Before anything else, I take one quiet minute to breathe. Just 1 minute to remind myself why I chose this life. My family back in the Philippines, the patients who depend on us during the night, and the love that I still carry for being an OR nurse. That 1 minute helps reset my mind and prepare my heart. Kayo ba guys, ano bang ginagawa nyo pagkatapos yung gumising? Nagme-meditate din ba kayo? Comment down below po. Next step, glasses on, music on. Usually, cup of joe or Laney. Depende sa mood. Music has a way of making everything feel lighter. As I've shared in my previous vlogs, living here in the US can feel lonely, especially when you're on your own. Kapag sobrang tahimik, mas ramdam mo ang lungkot o minsan nawawalan ka ng gana. That's why music is important for me. It helps set the tone of my day. So if you're starting your day or night alone too, I hope you find your own playlist that reminds you to keep going. Number 2, evening breakfast. I start my night shift with coffee from pagising. I actually bought a coffee maker to have a strong coffee daily. Here in the US, maginaw, especially during winter. So having a stimulant like coffee or tea during your breakfast would help you stay awake and ready for your upcoming shift. Then for breakfast, I usually eat quick and simple dishes such as my go-to tuna omelette with rice, most likely a high-protein meal, low-fat and high in carbs. Quick to prepare, cheap, and enough to keep me energized. Number 3, prepare packed lunch. And of course, I always prepare packed lunch. OR shifts can be very unpredictable, so having food ready is a lifesaver, especially during the night shifts when most food shops are already closed. It's also a big help for saving money because food here in the US can be quite expensive if you buy outside. Number 4, video call with family while eating. One thing I've come to appreciate about working night shift is the time difference with the Philippines. While the world here is getting quiet, life back home is just starting. My family is awake. I've never really liked eating alone, so I call them before my shift begins. Even from miles away, Hearing their voices brings comfort. It reminds me that no matter how far I am, I still belong somewhere. And somehow, that simple moment makes the start of my night a little lighter. Number 5, hygiene time plus life contemplation. Of course, hygiene is always important. It's a simple thing, but it's part of how I take care of myself. As nurses, we make sure our patients are clean, comfortable, and well cared for. So I always remind myself, if I can give that level of care to others, we should also give it to ourselves. I start my day with oral care, brushing, flossing, and mouthwash. It's not just about being clean. When I smile at my patients, I want them to feel confidence and professionalism. And of course, fresh breath makes it easier to connect and build rapport as we talk. Then comes skincare. Since it's winter here, moisturizer is a must. The cold can really dry out your skin, and taking a few extra minutes help me feel fresh again. Because looking presentable isn't about vanity, it's about showing respect, respect for ourselves, and for the patients who trust us with their care. Number 6, go out and drive to work. Time to head out. Driving to work is just part of everyday life here in the US. Having a car isn't just convenience, it's a necessity. Especially if you're not in the big city where public transportation is easy. If you're curious about how I got my driver's license, I've got a link right above. My workplace is only 12-minute drive from home, but those minutes are mine. I usually play my favorite music while driving, using the time to mentally prepare for whatever the night may bring. It's my little ritual before stepping into the OR. Number 7, finally arrive at work, prayer, clock in, and change into scrubs. Before I step into the OR, I take a brief moment to pray for strength, for patience, and for smooth teamwork throughout the night. Then it's time to clock in. We use UKG Pro here, a handy app on your phone that makes logging in your shift quick and easy. What about you? What do you use at your workplace? Comment down below. I'd love to know. Next, scrubs on. We're lucky to have scrubs machine, so our uniforms are provided by the hospital. OR shoes and Bufan cap on. And just like that, the night shift begins. Now, let me walk you through a typical OR night shift routine. Just a heads up, this is just an example, and the actual flow can vary depending on the number of cases or other unexpected events during the night. Number 1, around 6:55 p.m., receiving the handoff. The night really begins when I receive the handoff from the day's OR charge nurse. This is when I get the full picture of what's happening in the operating rooms. I go through the report carefully, which ongoing cases need to be relieved or finished, and which ORs will need to set up first thing in the morning. I also take note any special requests from surgeons for tomorrow's cases, specific equipment, instruments, or sterile supplies. There are other important endorsements too, like OR repairs, floor cleaning schedules, UV disinfection, or equipment that's not available due to maintenance. Knowing this ahead of time makes the night smoother and ensures we're prepared for anything. Most importantly, I learn about the add-on cases that can't wait until the morning. These are usually emergent: craniotomies, ruptured appendicitis, septic wounds, lacerations, bowel obstructions, or control of bleeding. These are the cases that will define the night. Once the report is complete, the charge nurse hands me the OR phone. From that moment, I'm not just the circulating nurse in the OR, I'm also the charge nurse, leading the next 12 hours. I log into the hospital Tiger Tech system as the main OR charge nurse so I can receive messages from surgeons, anesthesiologists, and the rest of the team instantly. As the day nurse heads off her shift, I'm fully in charge. Of course, there's always an on-call admin, our nurse manager or director. Just a phone call away if any problem comes up that I can't solve. Knowing support is there if needed makes the responsibility a little lighter even on the busiest nights. Number 2, around 7:10 p.m., finishing the residual cases. The night really kicks in as I step into the OR to finish up the remaining cases. I'm partnered with a CST or Certified Scrub Technician who scrubs in and assists the surgeons, handing over instruments and keeping everything sterile. Usually, there's one or two cases left to wrap up, and during this time, I'm fully functioning as the circulating nurse. Together with the PM, circulating nurse, and the CST, we perform the relief surgical count, making sure every instrument and sponge is accounted for before the outgoing team leaves. Then comes the handoff report, patient identity, consents, specimens, medications on the field, implants, and other special endorsements, and the patient's post-op destination, whether it's PACU, ICU, or home after a short stay. As the case nears completion and before the surgeon steps out, I conduct the sign out or debriefing, a key part of the surgical safety checklist. We confirm the procedure, wound class, estimated blood loss, specimen, patient destination, and any patient-specific concerns. It's a moment that ensures everyone on the team is on the same page. After the procedure, we carefully transfer the patient from the OR bed to the hospital bed, guided by the PA or resident, and of course, the anesthesiologist. Fresh gown, warm blankets, secured Foley catheters, oxygen tank ready, chart and belongings accounted for, everything that to make sure the patient is safe and comfortable. Next, I send the specimen to the lab if they need immediate processing, such as cultures, fresh specimens, or store them in our OR specimen area if fixed in formalin. Next comes charting in the EMR system. Here we use Epic, one of the leading systems here in the US. While tidying up the OR alongside my CST partner, I call the environmental services to clean up the room, return the case cart with the unused sterile items, and finally, take a deep breath, knowing that this part of the night is complete. Number 3, 10 to 11 p.m. up to 1:30 a.m. Setting up the first cases for tomorrow. On nights like this, my CST partner and I are tasked with a huge responsibility, setting up all the first cases for the morning across our 9 ORs. It's a lot for just two of us, but we start by planning, dividing the rooms so we know who sets up which OR. The ORs are usually messy from the day's cases, so the first step is putting everything in its proper place. Beds are adjusted based on the procedure, regular beds, Jackson spine beds with bolsters or Wilson attachments, fracture tables, beach chairs, peg boards, bean bags, pink pads, Hagivacs. Each room has its own needs. Positioning attachments must be ready and precise. Next, we check the equipment. Machines like Neptunes, which collect surgical fluids and smoke, must be drained, cleaned, and ready. I've never seen this in the Philippines or in Singapore, and it's impressive how advanced they are. The docking station does the most of the cleaning automatically, which saves time. Other equipment is checked too, such as the cautery machines, drill pedals, robotic surgery systems like the Da Vinci for laparoscopies, the Monarch for bronchoscopies, stealth navigation systems for neurosurgeries, and huge microscopes for some ORs. Once equipment is ready, we bring in the case cart prepared by the SPD personnel. Each cart is customized based on the surgeon's preference card. Our job is to spread the surgical items inside the room, leaving anything whole outside the OR. Vendor trays and sterile implants are critical for neuro and ortho surgeries, must be also in place. While prepping, I keep one mindset. Assume it's my own case. Everything should be smooth and ready for the morning nurses. Of course, no one is perfect. Sometimes things are being processed at night and we might forget something. But there's no blame culture here. Morning nurses understand it's just the two of us and they appreciate the effort. Whatever's missing, they fill in during the day. Nights like this are long, challenging, and meticulous, but the teamwork, trust, and shared responsibility make it meaningful. By the time the first cases of the morning arrive, I know we've done everything we could to make sure the OR runs flawlessly. Number 4, around 1:30 to 2 a.m., side task. After prepping the ORs, it's time for the side task, the little details that keep everything running smoothly. The morning's cases leave behind a lot, such as sutures, gloves, gowns, and other sterile items that need to put away. Blanket warmers are nearly empty, or sometimes completely empty, so we restock them if the linen department has sent supplies during the shift. Often, some items are still processing, but we do our best with what's available. Fluid warmers are replenished too, making sure there's enough for the next day's cases. Finally, we clear the hallways, making sure everything is tidy and free of clutter. Use beds, oxygen tanks, bed attachments, machines, stirrups, everything has its place. Walking through a clean, organized OR and hallway at its hour is a quiet satisfaction. A small but important part of keeping the hospital ready for the next day. Number 5, 1 to 3 a.m., middle of the night break. Around 1 to 3 a.m., your body starts negotiating with you. Are we really awake? Are we sure? A quick snack, hydration, and a mental check, and you're ready for whatever comes next. Number 6, 3 a.m., trauma or emergency activation. And then, just like that, everything changes. A trauma patient rolls in, a car accident, a ruptured appendix, a fracture, uncontrolled bleeding. Calm turns to urgency, and suddenly, you're fully in the moment. I step back into the role of circulating nurse, working closely with my CST partner. Every move matters, assisting the surgeons, supporting the anesthesiologist, making sure that the patient is safe and stable, and ensuring surgery goes as smoothly as possible. There's no room for distraction, only focus, precision, and teamwork. Number 7, around 5 a.m., finishing the trauma case and room cleanup. The trauma case is complete. The patient is safely transferred to the ICU. Specimens are sent and verified with the surgeon. The OR is tidied up and we begin prepping it again for the first case in the morning. It's relentless, but each step matters. Number 8, around 5:30 a.m., rest break. Finally, a moment to breathe. I grab a quick snack, crackers, some warm water, and share a few laps with the morning charge nurse and early risers. It's brief, but it's enough to recharge. By the time I give report to the morning charge nurse, I know we've done our best. Room setup, emergency cases, patients cared for, and then stepping outside and seeing the sunrise. It's a small reward, but anyone on a night shift, it's one of the sweetest moments of all. Number 9, disadvantages of night shift. First, sleep schedule chaos. Your body never fully adjusts. Some days you feel unstoppable, other days completely exhausted. Then there's isolation. Everyone else is awake while you sleep or asleep while you work. Nights can feel lonely. Less staff means more work. Turnovers, setups, emergencies. Everything relies heavily on you. It's physically demanding. Weird meal times take a toll too. Midnight snacks, 3 a.m. coffee, your stomach never really knows what's happening. And finally, fatigue and emergency stress. Between 3 to 5 a.m., the so-called danger zones. Trauma hit differently, and every decision counts. Nights are unpredictable, intense, and they push you to your limits. Number 10, advantages of night shift as an OR nurse. One of the perks of working night shifts is number 1, higher pay. Night shift differential can add $5 to $10 extra per hour. Same job, more money, definitely a plus. Nights can also be calmer. Fewer people, less noise, less pressure, until of course an emergency rolls in. But in general, the OR at night has a quiet rhythm. You also get more autonomy. You rely on your skills more, make decisions independently, and that sharpens your confidence and resourcefulness. And let's not forget, zero traffic, empty highways on your way to work, empty streets going home. It's a bliss. And finally, night shifts give you more freedom during the day. Appointments, errands, personal projects. If you manage your sleep, the daytime is yours to reclaim. Number 11, tips for surviving night shifts as an OR nurse. Number 1, invest in blackout curtains. Sleeping during the day isn't easy. Blackout curtains makes a huge difference. They block out daylight, help maintain a healthy circadian rhythm, and let your body rest deeply so you wake up refreshed and ready for the next shift. 2. Hydrate more than you think. Night shifts are long, scrubs are warm, and moving around the OR makes you sweat more than you notice. Staying hydrated keeps your energy and focus up, prevents headaches, and helps your body recover faster. 3. Avoid heavy meals at 2 a.m. Normally, digestion slows down at night, so a big meal can cause bloating, heartburn, and sleepiness. Instead, I stick to a light snacks to keep my energy steady without overloading my system. And it also helps me sleep better after work. 4 is prioritize mental health. Nights affect your mood, stress, anxiety, and burnout can creep in when your wake cycle is off. I always take a few minutes to meditate after waking up. It keeps me positive, focused, and motivated, even during the long hours of work in the OR. And lastly, appreciate the sunrise. At the end of the shift, stepping outside to see the sunrise is a small but meaningful reward. It's a quiet moment to reflect, feel accomplished, and remember the impact you've made caring for patients through the night. Overall, night shift as an OR nurse isn't for everyone. It pushes you, makes you tougher, more independent, and sharper in your skills. Some day you love it, some days you question all your life choices, and some days you're just proud that you survived another 12 hours. If you've ever thought about trying the night shift in the OR, I hope this gives you a real sense of what it's like, the challenges, the responsibilities, and the small but meaningful rewards. Thank you for spending the night with me. Until the next vlog, see you on the next one. Bye!